Hey y'all, I'm Victor Garcia, your CS tutor, and welcome back to part two of Inheritance. If you haven't seen part one of Inheritance, I recommend you go watch that one first. That's where we set up the code and show you a simple example of inheritance with an empty method. In this video, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into that, and we're going to show you some more keywords with override and super. So let's start pulling up the code. See you there. All right, so we're here. This is where we left off from last time. As you can see, we had a parent class and a subclass, which was empty, and then we just called uh, one of the methods from the parent class, and we got an output. So that means we were able to inherit this method and this attribute from this class. So let's not just have this empty, let's actually put something in it, make it a little bit more interesting. So let's start by giving this class its own attribute, and that's going to be representing one of these students. So let's give it an art style. So as you can see, these students have their own art style. Some are a little bit more dotted, some are more cartoony, more a bit more abstract. So each one's a little different, but they're all inheriting the pose of the model and the color yellow. For now, let's keep it simple. So we're just gonna have art style, and we have our constructor here, and we're just gonna give it a string parameter, and that's gonna be the art style that we choose to give it in our main function. So it's gonna take in, and then it's gonna set our art style to that. All right, so we just set our art style to the art style in the parameters, and now let's do something interesting with our new method. So let's create a new method, and let's just call that display pose. So you might be wondering why I chose to name this method the same as the parent class method, and that's because I want to do something interesting, which is overriding uh, a method from our parent class. Because a lot of the times when you're doing inheritance, you don't want to just have uh, the methods from the parent class. You kind of want to change it depending on the subclass that you're in. And that's I'm going to show you a little bit of an example here. And to do that, we're going to need this uh, this keyword here, this override keyword, and that's telling the compiler that we want to override the method with the same name from here from our parent class. So we're telling it we want to override our display pose, which means whatever stuff is in this method is gonna take precedence. It's gonna be executed. Nothing from here is gonna be executed when we call display pose. So we still want to use the method from our parent class, but we just want to add a little bit more onto it. So let's use this new keyword called super, and that's pretty much telling the compiler that, hey, we want to use this method from the super class, which is our parent class. So it's this keyword right here, super. So we're calling that class, which means we're going to be printing out our pose, but we also want to print out the art style that we're in. So that's going to be using the attribute from this class, but we're also using the attribute from our parent class. And that's a pretty powerful thing in inheritance. And yeah, so art style and then this art style. So let's move down and see what we can output with this class structure. So now we have just one student, let's create another student, and let's just copy paste. Yeah, so now we have student two, and now that we made a constructor, they're both gonna have to take in a string. So let's give them both different art styles. So let's give it futurism for student one. That's a pretty cool art style. It has like these weird buildings and it kind of looks pretty dystopian. And then let's give this one abstract just because it's pretty cool too. So let's have them both display pose. And then let's run it and see what we get. I see we got an error. We forgot to write the return method, the return type for our method. So let's make sure we get that in. All right, so let's run that again. All right. So our output is dancing, and then the art style is futurism, and then dancing, and the art style is abstract. So we have our two students. This is student one, and this is student two. And this is where I put the dot is where we inherited from the super class or a parent class. And this bottom line or the next line is our new attributes. So it's our unique stuff from our subclasses. And that's what's pretty awesome about inheritance is you could have the same thing across different classes, but also have different stuff along with that. So you could reuse a lot of code, you could save a lot of time, and it's just a lot more efficient. So that's pretty much inheritance in a nutshell. I hope to see you in the next video. I'm Victor Garcia, CS Tutor, and I'll see you later.